What a battle today between the two of them. We're underway. First game from Amy Park. Storm versus Tigers. Playing it right centre. Dewey and Naden on the far side of the field. They'll hook it back to Coates, who makes a catch. They keep it alive. Beware the second kick. Garlick misses Hughes. Katoa it is who ends up with it. Runs towards Luai. Fires it out to Meany. Here is Pappenhausen, who grubbers in behind. Nobody there. Toes it forward. A problem for the Tigers. Pappenhausen. He reached out off his own kick, reeled it in, and plants it down.
Hesitated momentarily. Not the Melbourne fullback. Loves Amy Park. Loves scoring down here. And the Melbourne fullback, boy, that is outstanding.
At the halfway line, here is Hughes, comes to Munster, and Pappenhausen, good hands, Anderson, Coates, Galvin was there, Coates comes back infield, guess who's there again? He's electric, he's everywhere. Tigers go very short, they put it up in a chimney almost. Buller is there, beaten by Coates. Comes back to Pappenhausen. He has a hat-trick inside 17 minutes. They're on a roll once again. Last play, Munster it is. Puts it in the air. Out towards Coates. We'll see if they can test this one. They do. But it comes to Anderson. King is there. He reaches out.
Pushing through the middle. He really is. Yeah, no problems there whatsoever. He really has developed.
They've used up 4 plays. Garlick to King. Pops it over the top. Garlick for Hughes. Sees space. Goes low. Did he get it down? I think he did. Now to Silver again. Luai is there. Galvin back through the middle. Gets the ball, a jinking Galvin type run, finds Seyfarth, who was flat-footed. He's able to take it forward, he throws an awful ball. Meany with nobody in front of him. They're gifting Melbourne points now. It's served up on a silver platter. Short side break, Pappenhausen from Anderson, Coates, back to Pappenhausen. He equals his personal best with 4 tries in the one game. Shows it to Nelson, crash play, Asifa Solomona pours through, and he's dancing as well. Now Hughes, back on the inside, Munster, where's Pappenhausen? It's Katoa instead. Quick hands, inside, outside, and one more try for Melbourne. One more play for the Tigers. Galvin will look inside, comes outside, links up Seyfarth, May, cut-out ball, Naden, room to move, chips over the top, it's a good one. Play on! Munster gives it to Pappenhausen, who will try and bring it back, and they launch a counter-attack. Here is Coates, could they go the length of the field? Pappenhausen, back to Coates. It's unbelievable. Here is Pappenhausen from dummy half. Oh, Fainu! He had destroyed McDonald. Wishart shows it to Pappenhausen. Hughes sees plenty of space, and pouring into it is Cameron Munster. He joins the try scorers list. Here's Munster, Pappenhausen pushing up in support. Munster into huge space, comes back to Garlick. The pass given the all clear by Grant Atkins, and Bronson Garlick, he scores for Melbourne. They've taken down the Tigers 64 points to 0.
What was more pleasing, 64 or the fact you kept them to 0?
For me, it's always probably the defensive game, and we probably, probably haven't sort of stood up to those standards that we've probably expected earlier in the year. But again, it's only one breath tonight, but it was, it was much improved, and the the Tigers can throw plenty at you, and so I was really happy with, especially our first half defence. They probably didn't get a lot of field position in the second half, but not much ball. But yeah, so that was the most pleasing thing for me. But I thought we scored some really good tries as well, and I thought it was a pretty complete performance. And that's probably a little standard that we're set, but we need to make sure we get a little bit more consistent with.
Perhaps scored those first three. He was everywhere today. He really hit his straps.
Yeah, no, he was outstanding. I can't remember too many players scoring 3 tries, in that quick succession of time, like especially at the start of the game, so like I say, he was certainly on the ball today, and got some real rewards for him and the team. Yeah.
He's obviously his chances of playing Origin in the past have been hurt by his injuries and that. Would you think that he's due a call up?
Oh well, that's that'll be something for the selectors to to decide. At the end of the day, he's never going to let anyone down, no, without a doubt. But having said that, there's a lot of good fullbacks around, and there always probably has been for the last 20 years in Origin, for both teams, to be quite honest. So it'd be interesting. He is in red hot form at the moment. So as I said, if New South Wales decides to go that way, it's certainly he won't let anyone down.
You used to use him like in that utility role off the bench, and that even used to play through the middle, didn't he, for a bit, like a few years back? Do you think he could still do that?
Oh yeah, I think so. Again, whether you look at him, in that role, usually these days that fourth bench player, can play dummy half and play, probably in the halves a little bit as well. So, I think he could, do that well if he had to. So, at the end of the day, it'll be up to the selectors on what they think. But as I said, whatever role, if he did get picked, whatever role they'd like him to play, he's not going to let him down or let himself down.
Craig, were you ever, given all the injuries he's had, were you ever worried, or you see him every day, were you ever worried that he wasn't going to get back to where he was?
Yeah, and with all due respect, even when he come back, after probably the last one was 12 months, whatever it was, you think, like, having that many serious injuries, I'm not quite sure he's, it'd be really hard for him to get back to what, we know he's capable of. I thought some of those injuries would drag him back physically, but they don't seem to have, done that, If it has, he would have been one hell of a player if he hadn't got injured. But like I say, he had some horrific injuries and, a lot in a short amount of time. To come back how he has and to play, at the standard that he's played at, it's been pretty remarkable. I don't think I've seen anyone in my time in the game as a player or a coach have that many bad injuries and still be able to play at that level.
Is that him doing his own 1%ers to get back to that? Like,
again, just getting back or getting over the injury. That's a lot of work just there. Besides the physical and the skill things you have to do to get back to playing NRL at that level. Just getting back to be able to run again. To shoulders. To pass again, to tackle again. Wherever it is, that's the hard part of it. And as I said, the amount of serious injuries that he's had, as I said, he's done a remarkable job to get back to the level that he's got back to.
Cameron, what was the preparation like through the week? Like, I don't know, I imagine Craig probably wasn't the happiest after last week, and you must have been pretty happy with the response of the team.
Yeah, look, we had some learnings. We obviously got a Revan or boot up the bum on Monday, come review time. We just probably shot ourselves in the foot at times last week against the Raiders. They're a good quality outfit, and that's the reason why they're in the top 2 at the moment. So the competition's so tight, you can't afford to be giving out those disciplinary. We've had some great opportunities last week in great field position, and just gave the ball back to them, and we just ended up hurting ourselves. So this week we obviously just bit on the mouth guard, had to do a lot of defence. That was something that we really focused on during the week. I know when he talks about happy with the 0, with obviously the performance tonight, but that was something that we really needed to work on. Like, we can score points all over the park, and it showed tonight. It's just probably more of that bite down that mouth guard when the opposition get into our try line zone, and we just needed to work hard and work hard for each other, and we did that tonight. So it's pleasing. It's good, obviously a building block for us, and we need to build on that next week. We've got the Sharks, and they're a good quality outfit too. So we'll go back to the drawing board and work a little bit more and learn and build. And if we can defend like that, like we did tonight, it's going to make it a lot easier for us coming in the next couple of weeks.
Craig, the word that you were reviewing pre-game to the media was discipline. The team didn't concede a penalty in the first half. How pleasing was that, and do you think that was a signal of the response from last week?
Oh yeah, I think we're all aware of it. I brought it up obviously early in the week, but I don't think I really had to bring it up. If I didn't bring it up, I'm sure they were aware of our lapses in discipline last week. We 3 times we give the away penalties when we had the ball. That's just way over the top. So as you're saying, like we all made aware. We made aware of it. We all had a discussion over it, and that was something that everyone wanted to look for the team to improve, look at the individuals to improve, and just get on with it from there. We couldn't hang on to it all week. We just, as soon as we sort of spoke about it, cleared the air, and then just got on with it.
And then how pleasing was it on the back of that to see the performance of the forwards? Obviously, Paps is going to get a little bit of praise from today, and rightfully so, but to keep them to 0 and what has to do in that case as well.
Yeah, our forwards done a really good job today, and ever win a game like that, or even you have to win a game, your forwards need to play well and get their job done. And I think our starting pack got us off to a real good start. They laid a great platform, and then some of the guys that come off the bench, they were outstanding with their attack and their defence, to be quite honest. I thought Bronson's really sort of settling into that position now, and then with Wish comes on, he has a little bit of pace around the middle, so it's a pretty good combination there at the moment. But our forwards, I thought they were tremendous tonight or this afternoon, and hopefully we get a bit consistent with it.
Did you rate that as one of Nelson's best performances? Like, it was quite measured, but still aggressive.
Yeah, no, he was. The one thing Nelson, he's been really invested in his training and his preparation, to get back. He got suspended, but then he had the head knock, so it took him a little while to get back from that. But since he's come back today, he's been aware of his weight and aware of his, I suppose, his training to get ready to return. And he played 2 games up in the QRL competition, Queensland Cup, and like I say, we really like what we saw last week. So it wasn't easy to fit him back in the side, actually, because other than after last week, before that, we were going pretty well. But the guys, it was just a bit of lack of discipline last week, not so much form, but to be able to put him back in and see him play like that, well, we just know how important he is to the team, and hopefully he can stay invested and be, I suppose, again, disciplined with his weight and his training.
Craig, you must have been delighted with the game of Xavier Coates, his ability to be able to set up field play, and also the game of Jerome Hughes in the second half. Yeah,
I don't think X has played any better than he has all year. He's been, there might be a winger in the competition in better form, but I haven't seen him. I haven't seen probably a lot of teams consistently, but I don't want to take any credit off any other players in our team, but I think he's been our most consistent and best player all year, to be quite honest. He just gets his job done every week, and he knows what he's good at, and he's a big, strong athlete. He's got pace, he's got ability in the air. Like I say, nothing X done today sort of surprised anyone, in our team. We know how good he is and how good he's going, and like I say, he's been just so consistent, this year.
Thanks, Ross.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, Benji, obviously, a very disappointed team in there. What was your sort of first message when you walked back in?
Oh, just we've got to be better than that. We've built standards, again, that we want to live by, and today we didn't live by any of them. So, yep, everyone's disappointed, embarrassed, probably a few other words you could use, but it's not good enough.
Did you feel as though you lost it quite early in the first half when perhaps sort of scored those 3 tries? Did you feel like that's where the game was really lost, and then once they sort of got on top?
There's losing the game, and then there's being beaten, and we got actually beat today. Like, we got a team that usually fights for everything, and I just didn't see the same fight today. So in the balance of our season, we're 5-5 now. Reflect where we are, and we've got to learn from it, and we've got to get back up for next week. We can't dwell on that. You can hurt from it, take the hurt into next week and improve, but we can't dwell on it and take it into next week.
Do you think was there a reason why you think that they didn't have that fight today? Was it anything this week, or was it?
Something we have to look at, but I don't want to make any excuses. We just got to be better.
Benji, it might be hard to judge now, but what might it do to the confidence, given, as you said, you have won 5 games, but to be beaten like that, what might that do to the confidence that you had gained up to this point?
It's sort of like a couple of steps forward and then a few steps back, and we took a lot of steps back today. So we know it works for us. We know the process we need to apply, and we just didn't apply any of it today. So it's probably something I need to look at with the way I coach this week and see what I can improve next week to help the team. But I think we all need to just look in the mirror and be better for next week.
Could you have sensed a possible stemming of the flow at any stage? Because it didn't seem that way, like there was no stopping them at any stage.
No, everyone knows how good they are and how hard they are to beat at home. And they got on a roll, and we just couldn't get anything back. So it's going to be a hard review and a hard watch, but like I said, you got to learn from it. And I guess we've set an expectation now where we're expected to be better than that, and we are better than that.
I think coming down here on the back of 2 wins, you must have, had some confidence. It's been a while since the Tigers have had a win. Actually, I think Benji played in the last one, but you must have arrived having had a few good wins recently.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, a couple of wins, but I guess when you're going good, you're never as good as you think you are. So for us, it's all about looking at our prep and the way we're rocking up the games.
Well, his knee, he didn't come back into the game. Do you know how bad that is?
He had a lingering sort of meniscus injury. I'm not sure, to be honest. He could be back next week. We'll have to get scans.
Yeah. Benji, obviously it's a long-term project with the Tigers. Do you see in your opponents today a sort of benchmark that you guys aspire to reach in the future as well?
I think Melbourne Storm have been the benchmark of the comp for the last 20 years. And we knew they were going to come out fast. We knew after what happened last week they were going to be upbeat and ready to play. But the disappointing thing for us is we can control our actions, and we didn't do what we said we were going to do.
Appy, can I just ask what I asked Benji about whether this might rattle the confidence of the guys, having come to this point with 5 wins? Will it rattle the confidence going forward a little bit?
I don't think so. I think if anything, it lights a fire inside you. Like I said, you're never as good as you think you are. So for us, it's a great look in the mirror from where we want to be. So I think it'll be a good thing for us.